My platforms of the world, I thought I'd better check in. There's this misconception now in the normal world. Not everyone, but quite a lot of people think that because they've been vaccinated, they now can't pass it on, catch it, or, catch it and pass it on to anyone else. They're now immune. This is incorrect information, obviously, but as I'm not being vaccinated, what I've done is just to appease anyone who's not necessarily fearing it, but buys all the shit that comes out of there and wants to follow it properly and make sure that, basically if I visit someone who's completely following the rules, or has got someone who's vulnerable, or someone who could potentially, I suppose they're vulnerable, it could cause a problem for. I ordered some of these from the government. Now they're severely unreliable. As you can see, the one I done on I even wrote the date on the back. That one I done on Friday. I was going to see one of my friends and her grand's going around the next day or something like that. So I thought I'd better check, because the only reason why is because I work for a delivery service that scans about 500 coronavirus tests every day, and I take the box and I put it into a plastic bag and I scan it. So it's quite likely that I've been in close proximity of that virus. Also, the company I work for deliver to everyone in the world, and the contamination is similar to any frontline staff who are working with customers, etc., etc. So I've been invited for a vaccine 3 times. I've had 2 text messages because I've actually got asthma, so I was in the vulnerable list. They invited me then, and then they invited me again after that when my age group come up, and I've since had a letter delivered to my house. Waiting for a phone call, because then when they phone, I'm going to ask them for an immunity test. And do you know why I'm going to do that? Because I thought, well, if I'm probably one of the people who they should test for immunity, because I work in a sector where a little bit like the nurses and the doctors, because if I've had coronavirus, which I think I've possibly had, and then I take a vaccine, that will overwrite my immune system, right? So, or my immune system's response to the antibodies, right? So if I've actually had the virus, whether it's a variant of it or some degree of it, my immune system knows sort of what that virus is about, right? So therefore it's built its own battle stations to deal with it. If I then take an unregistered drug that there's all different variants and there's all different types of vaccines that are out there, it's then going to potentially overwrite my natural immune system, which may already or may not already have the antibodies and know what coronavirus is. The flu, SARS-2, whatever conspiracy we want to go down that route. I'm not talking about, how this or what or how or if it's true or not true, but I'm just saying that's my next thing. So when they ring me and say to me, oh, why won't you have the vaccine? I go, because of that. So I'll tell you what, give me an immunity test. If that immunity test comes back that I'm not immune, then we might have another conversation. And if it keeps coming back and there's obviously an issue, and it's like polio or something, which I don't for this 1 second think it is. Also, I've been taking vitamin D for years. I've gone on about vitamin D for years, and I've gone on about getting vitamin D. I've gone out about going in the sun between the hours of midday and 3, and it has to be between like May or a sort of time in September, otherwise the sun doesn't get high enough for you the angle to hit the ionosphere and it to the UVs, to penetrate your skin at the right level. The other thing is if you rub it yourself with, let's put a sun cap lotion all over me. the rays can't get to your sun, so you're actually cooking yourself in oil, so that's good. I think so. As far as I'm concerned, sunscreen helps cause cancer, unless you have to be outside, and then it can protect you a bit briefly. But if you can't sit in the sun for as long as you can without sunscreen, sit in the shade. So if you can only sit outside for 2 hours in the sun, get the heat of the sun, before you burn, then just sit out the sun for the rest of the day. If you've got a job you've got to do where you've got to stand in the sun, protect yourself some way, and if that means using sunscreen, I get it. But people, let's put sunscreen on and lay out in the sun for longer than we should, and just hope this barrier stops us from creating any kind of issues with sun cancer or skin cancer or anything like that. It's almost like that. But anyway, vitamin D, I digress, back to what I was saying. Vitamin D clearly plays a huge role in immune system benefits, because I haven't had a common cold for fucking ages. I've had infections. I've had sinusitis. You get the occasional sore throat and your glands come up, and you spray some Collidor Silver, take some more ginger, lemon and apple juice, and then just up the vitamin D by 2000 IU. Goes like near enough instantly. So there's something in it. And then now, the television, it's behind that. That's my washing. And I put it there because the sun's coming through there, or it was, and it dries a bit quicker. That's what happens when you live in a flat in England, apartment in any other country. So yeah, I can't even remember what I was saying. What was I saying? Something about, I'm going to stop there because I'm obviously babbling. But the only thing I can say to people is you're entitled to 2 of these a week from the government. They're easy to order. I've ordered a pack. They come in packs of 7. And I figured that if anyone's really insecure of me visiting them at some point and wants to know because of my job, then I'm quite happy to take one of these whenever I visit someone. And then, in effect, if they take one as well, this is the other thing. If they do a test and you do a test, then you're both negative. In effect, you don't really have to socially distance for that particular period of time, do you? I don't think so, anyway. I suppose it's down to each individual, and I think what the other thing is just to be honest with people, because there are some people who are generally scared. So if I've gone around hugging people, I won't go and visit someone who's vulnerable or I know that's pretentious about it. That's probably the wrong word. No, it is a little bit. It's just all a bit pretentious now, isn't it? Coronavirus, it's almost a joke. You can see comedies, it's going to be like stand up at the Odeon. Oh, do you remember the year 2020, 2021? That was a fucking joke, wasn't it? Yeah, joke was on the public. It's going to be one of those, isn't it? It is. So I'm not an advocate for these in the sense of I don't think that we should be doing them full stop, but I've got some for just other people's peace of mind, because I don't want other people to be in fear of me. What I believe is what I believe. I'm not going to enforce it onto others. I might show them or say, look, da-da-da, but that's it. Because I'll start worrying about your own outlook, I suppose, in some respects. All you can do is just try and be considerate of others. Let's not cause a conquer and divide, So I'm not going to cause a conquer and divide. That's my compromise. I'll occasionally do one of those if you need me to, if I'm visiting you and you don't feel happy about me visiting you. So, yeah. Peace, love and light.